In our conversations with leaders like you, we see a pattern emerging. We see IT organizations struggling to simultaneously manage risk, agility, and time, factors that are often in conflict. Currently, line of business leaders are seeking far greater agility from IT and greater support for their growth initiatives. But you may not have enough time to drive the innovation they seek because you're so busy managing and mitigating risk. If you don't put in a systematic approach to resolving risks, this issue is likely to grow more problematic over time. After all, you have a complex environment to manage involving many different processes, and reducing risk is a high priority. If you don't reduce your exposure to risk, you're likely to become the latest in a long line of organizations that have been breached, have had data stolen, and have seen huge impacts to their profits and long-term success. Because of the potential for catastrophic loss, agility typically suffers when in conflict with risk, and all your time goes to reducing risk. In other words, you need to protect your brand even as you manage your costs. The key parties handling this risk and ensuring you stay in compliance are the security and operations teams. These groups have different perspectives. The security team is constantly searching for threats. When a threat or compliance concern is identified, security wants to rapidly implement a change to address the issue. The operations team, however, is focused on ensuring uptime and availability. This group seeks to minimize change. In fact, there's a tremendous amount of friction between Sec and Ops. Security wants issues quickly fixed, but operations is concerned about the stability of the system. A mistaken change or configuration error can bring a system down. Gartner reports that 80% of downtime is due to errors and configuration changes. Given all this friction, the time to remediate an issue is significant. Operations has a tough job because there are many silos of expertise, and each is responsible for its own technology. They've got servers and networks, databases, middleware, and a number of other technologies, even cloud. And this is compounded because you have many different platforms in each of these infrastructure silos, and many different stages in the development and rollout process when you make changes. It's an incredibly complex environment. So there's a barrier between security and operations. Your organization, and the security team in particular, is now confronted with advanced persistent threats from attackers, hackers, and cybercriminals that are trying to breach your systems and steal your data. But security also needs to deal with configuration drift that happens in the normal course of operations. So they find all these vulnerabilities in systems out of compliance. And when they find these vulnerabilities, a problem presents itself. Security relies on the ops team to remediate the issues, but the security team doesn't know who specifically is supposed to fix the problems they find. And even operations needs time to determine who should handle the issues. But that's not the only problem. When someone is found to resolve the issue, the fix still needs to be devised. Typically, the resolution is implemented through some script created by one of your most senior and expensive resources, probably relying on tribal knowledge. So you must determine what is the right solution. And once you've clarified who can fix the issue and what the solution looks like, you face a third challenge: how? This is about the onerous process of actually rolling out the change. In fact, issue resolution is frequently just too slow and expensive. That process comes back to operations, and its concern that changes will negatively affect the business availability of your systems. Your processes might include fitting into a change window, having multiple approvals, complex testing of systems and development, testing and staging before going to production, and this can take an incredibly long time. According to White Hat Security, it takes companies 193 days to completely fix serious vulnerability issues once they're found. That's the time it takes to fully remediate these issues, cleaning up virtual machine templates, disaster recovery systems, and secondary systems. That's more than half a year. That's far too long for you and your organization's brand to be vulnerable. This is not the agility that your business demands from you. To gain back the time required to provide agility to their organizations while keeping risk under control, companies are now seeking a more intelligent approach to compliance. Leaders are finding success by concentrating on three elements. To understand who will resolve the compliance and security issues you've identified, you need to have visibility across your entire IT infrastructure, both across all your technology silos, network, database, server, etc., and across all your platforms like Linux, Windows, all the flavors of Unix, AIX, etc. You need comprehensive visibility into the impact of your risks on all your infrastructure, automatically linking your vulnerabilities to the right person who can best resolve the issue. You need built-in remediation. Out of the box, you need automatic processes and content which can fix your vulnerabilities so you can resolve the issue quickly. And it's critical that the fixes can be trusted by both operations and security teams. The resolution needs to be transparent and policy-driven rather than script-based. Finally, you need to speed the processes of resolving your issue, of actually making the change, so that you dramatically reduce the amount of time that you're exposed to risk or that you're out of compliance. In other words, you need integrated change control. Not only full control of the fix, but changes linked to your enterprise change processes. When you're able to integrate your change process, you can eliminate bureaucracy and automate approvals, dramatically accelerating the remediation process without compromising on the auditability of all your changes. And this is why companies like yours are now relying on BMC. BMC is the only company that brings all three of these elements into a single automated solution, a solution we call Intelligent Compliance. Through Intelligent Compliance, you can at last unify your compliance identification and resolution. And that means you have far greater agility. You'll spend far less time resolving compliance issues, even as you reduce your risk. You'll ensure your brand is protected, and you'll avoid penalties and other charges associated with non-compliance.